external world exists only in the mind, and if the mind itself is controllable, what then? By George Orwell. As civilization becomes more complex, and as the need for invisible government has been increasingly demonstrated, the technical means have been invented and developed by which the public opinion can be regimented. By Edward Bernays, Propaganda, IG Publishing, 2004. To be successful, manipulation should remain invisible. The success of the manipulation is guaranteed when the manipulated believe everything happens naturally and inevitably. In short, manipulation requires a false reality in which its presence will not be felt. By G. Schiller. Before I continue the video, please give a like if you've learned something. And don't forget to subscribe, and also click the notification bell too, so you won't miss any update. And watch to the end to avoid misunderstanding. Thank you. The overarching agenda that threads its way through the practice of global governance is a belief in a reshaped world. This world, which apparently benefits the elite alone, is dependent upon the blind compliance and ignorance of the masses. Although there may be many conflicting beliefs on how this new world can be implemented, it has always been loosely referred to as the New World Order. The players, who are often instrumental in orchestrating and steering global governance toward this new world vision, invariably hold allegiances to specific groups that, although mostly visible, function in an enigmatic and guarded fashion. In recent years, researchers cannot help but notice the amount of times that groups like the Council on Foreign Relations or the Trilateral Commission have been complicit in the affairs of global governance.
Oh! Damn. I've been super busy. Damn, fucking phone tonight.
I know it sounds too good to be true, but the Earn It app is legit. I don't get paid till next Friday, like you. I can cash out $100 for my next paycheck instantly.
Life doesn't wait for paydays, so that's why I download the Earn It app. There's no fees, there's no interest, because you never know what life's gonna throw at you.
Download the Earn It app today.
Lights are right fucking there. What an asshole. Oh, look at Daddy driving a caddy. Daddy. Daddy.
Toward the end of the 19th and early 20th century, men of wealth, academia, and influence were frequenters of secret societies, groups, and institutions. Some of these groups were political in nature, others were downright esoteric. In any case, they usually became forums of philosophy and sociology, full of heady discussions about global change and speculation about the methods through which any number of desired futures could be accomplished. Although this phenomenon has perhaps existed in one form or another for thousands of years, the particular time frame I have highlighted also heralded the dawn of the mainstream science fiction genre. It should come as no surprise that a number of famous science fiction authors of the time were members of these heady thinking groups. One such group, influential during this period, was the Bohemian Club. Formed in 1872, the club met at Bohemian Grove, near San Francisco. The Bohemian Club and the Grove gatherings still exists today and is monitored by many alternative knowledge researchers. Numerous U.S. and international political and business elite meet at the Grove at various times of the year. The Manhattan Project was conceived at the Grove in the early 1940s. It is said that multiple U.S. presidential candidates have been chosen at these meetings, seemingly confirmed by the notorious 1967 Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan meeting, where it was agreed who would seek the presidency first. Some of the more contemporary visitors include former UK Prime Ministers Tony Blair and John Major, as well as British Royal Prince Philip. Gatherings at the Grove have been watched and filmed by researchers. One notable ceremony features individuals dressed in cowls, surrounding a sacrificial pyre, and chanting and worshipping a giant stone owl. This ritual is known as the cremation of care. The Bohemian Club has had several members with interesting connections to science fiction. Early men of talent within the club included George Sterling, Ambrose Bierce, Bret Hart, Henry M. Stanley, and Mark Twain. Twain was a founding, honorary member of the Bohemian Club. His novel, entitled A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, is considered by some to be part of the canon of early science fiction. Twain, aka Samuel Langhorne Clemens, was interestingly integral to the plot of the Star Trek The Next Generation two-part episode, Time Zero, and ultimately depicted as a visionary futurist. Jack London also featured heavily in the story. Even more curiously, the story takes place in San Francisco in 1893, at the height of the Bohemian Club's popularity with literary types. Twain was offered honorary membership in the secret society Scroll and Key of Yale University in 1868. He was also a Freemason. He belonged to Polar Star Lodge No. 79 AF and AM, based in St. Louis. He was initiated and entered apprentice on May 22, 1861, passed to the degree of Fellow Craft on June 12, and raised to the degree of Master Mason on July 10. Twain once made the following bizarre statement. He said, "We may not pay Satan reverence, for that would be indiscreet, but we can at least respect his talents." On August 18, 1904, Jack London, author of Call of the Wild, attended Bohemian Grove with his close friend, the poet George Sterling. He was elected an honorary member and attended many times over the subsequent years. London was also a socialist. His dystopian novel, entitled The Iron Heel, is categorized by many as science fiction. Clark Ashton Smith, contributor of 1930s pulp sci-fi magazines and Lovecraftian-style fiction, participated in a theatrical production at the Midsummer Retreat of the Grove in 1913. I will look more closely at Smith and his association with science fiction notables H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Rice Burroughs in future episodes. William Henry Rhodes was also an original Bohemian Club founder. His 1871 science fiction short story, entitled The Case of Summerfield, was based on the premise that a villain by the name of Black Bart planned to destroy the world by setting the oceans on fire. Rhodes often wrote science fiction under the pen name Caxton. I mention this because of the synchronicity with one William Caxton, 1421 to 1490, a man who moved in powerful political and religious circles, and who played a hugely significant role in bringing literary printing to England. Numerous sources have cited the Nobel Prize-winning author Sinclair Lewis as a past member of the Bohemian Club. For example, a 1999 guidebook to California makes such a claim. The club numbered Ambrose Bierce, Sinclair Lewis, Jack London, and Frank Norris among its members. In a 1980 article for the San Francisco Chronicle, Gobind Bihari Law wrote, "George Sterling enabled me to meet Robinson Jeffers, living in Carmel, Gertrude Atherton of Palo Alto, and Carmel Bay. Many other distinguished California writers. I met Sinclair Lewis, Upton Sinclair, Theodore Dreiser, Sherwood Anderson, Jim Tully, and others. The Bohemian Club, where he lived, he had affluent friends. Upton Sinclair, Sinclair Lewis, Sherwood Anderson, Kenneth Rexroth, Ring Lardner, Robinson Jeffers, Theodore Dreiser. The membership fee was $0.10 a month, used by Kenneth Rexroth, who had been a leading Sanda secretary for postage, to let the registered members know of the coming dinner meeting, held once a month." Although it is difficult to 100% conclusively document Lewis's Bohemian Club membership, it has been documented that he was close friends with member George Sterling, who introduced Lewis to fellow members such as Jack London, and invited him for visits at the Bohemian Club. Lewis is documented as having attended the club on at least one occasion, February 14, 1926. Educated at Yale University, Lewis wrote the quasi-science fiction entitled What If scenario story entitled It Can't Happen Here in 1935, which was, according to creator Kenneth Johnson, the original inspiration for the fondly remembered science fiction television miniseries V. It Can't Happen Here tells the story of the rise and rule of a homegrown fascist dictatorship in America. Strangely, many academics have studied American literary links to the early days of the Bohemian Club and fervently tried to separate the origins of the club from its reputation as an elite associated organization. The claim is made that the Bohemian Club began life exclusively, not as gathering of establishment elites, but as a benign collective of San Francisco Bohemian artists, writers, and poets. Russell Jacoby, in his book entitled The Last Intellectuals, American Culture in the Age of Academe, maintained that lack of money to keep the club alive necessitated the involvement of financial higher-ups. Jacoby cites one well-heeled member who apparently said the possession of talent without money would not support the club. It was decided that we should invite an element to join the club which the majority of the members held in contempt, namely men who had money as well as brains, but who were not strictly Bohemians. The problem of our permanent success was solved. Jacoby names Ambrose Bierce, Jack London, and Mark Twain as examples of those unhappy with the arrangement. He also wrote, in late 1880, some dissenting painters and writers, who called themselves Pandemonium, protested the commercialism and departed to recapture the original Bohemian ethos, only to shipwreck on their lack of funds. Jacoby encourages one to psychologically separate early members from the club's rather sinister and now well-documented nature and intentions, thus exonerating them from any potential agenda involvement. Whilst this analysis may be convenient for those fiercely loyal to the positive legacy of such literary figures, I will leave it to you to decide what the case was really. Comment below with more topic ideas for me to discuss. As a lot of care and hard work goes into this, likes and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. All is appreciated greatly.
77 comments! Baller!
Post. Apply critical thinking and use discernment to come to your own conclusions regarding the content. Thanks for watching this video. This Everything Inside Me channel. See you on the next video. Stay safe and healthy.
Oh, why not?
Cauliflower power. Chickpeas. Cluck yeah. Basil toff. Bone broth appetit. Live well. Don't compromise. Eat right. Well, yes.
This one's the most fucked up one. God, we love you, Paris!
The documentary, entitled This is Paris, reveals that Paris Hilton was abducted and forced to attend a school that engaged in MK Ultra-style torture. Maybe unwillingly, the documentary also shows how Paris is still under the control of powerful handlers. If one recalls the early 2000s, you might remember douchebags wearing Ed Hardy trucker hats, and everyone being obsessed with Paris Hilton. Mostly known for wearing sunglasses and saying that's hot, Paris was the original "why is she famous" celebrity. The reality TV show, The Simple Life, crystallized her spoiled dumb blonde persona, as the entire series revolved around her being clueless and expressing that cluelessness with a high-pitched baby voice. Well, according to the new documentary This Is Paris, this was all an act. Furthermore, it asserts that Paris is actually a brilliant businesswoman who created a hugely lucrative brand by fully utilizing the power of social media. The documentary repeats several times that Paris is the original influencer, which is probably true. Well, This Is Paris spends a lot of time documenting a glamorous life filled with fancy traveling and fancier clothing. It also reveals some darker chapters in Paris's life. For instance, her parents paid to have her kidnapped and sent to a boarding school where students were abused, drugged, and tortured on a daily basis. What? That's not hot. That's not hot at all. Why would the heiress of the Hilton Hotels empire be willingly sent to such an awful place by her parents? The reasoning is pretty strange. In fact, the entire documentary is filmed in a strange, manipulative way. Indeed, well, This Is Paris contains elements found in standard documentaries, such as interviews and archive footage. Most of it is filmed in typical reality TV fashion, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And, at the risk of bursting your bubble, most reality TV is scripted. Thus, one cannot help but feel that there's some rehearsed fakeness going on there. Whether willingly or not, the documentary actually reveals that Paris is still under the control of powerful industry handlers. Here's a look at This Is Paris. Before I continue the video, please give a like if you've learned something. And don't forget to subscribe, and also click the notification bell too, so you won't miss any update. And watch to the end to avoid misunderstanding. Thank you.
I woke up in the mud with all those cuts and bruises on me.
Hello, Emma. I'm Dr. Green. How are you feeling today? It's gonna be okay. Everything looks just fine. In fact, baby's growing very quickly.
Oh my God.
I guess she knows who you are. I don't know, I just worry. With my hair and the nosebleeds.
I keep losing weight.
And having these horrible nightmares.
Let's see what's going on.
Something isn't right. I can feel. Easy, it's just me.
Girls like me, girls like you, that's who they go for.
There are others.
You're in the best of hands.
I don't believe you.
You sound like a crazy person.
I saw something.
There's no conspiracies.
What is inside of me?
Are you guys all the property car? The Rainbow Warrior, yes, that's me.
The documentary starts with Paris traveling to exotic places while saying yes to things she likes. Then, things take a darker turn. Paris says,
"Something happened to my childhood that I never talk about with anyone. I experienced it, and to this day, I'm still traumatized."
According to the documentary, teenage Paris liked to sneak out of the house and party too much. In an attempt to correct that flaw, her parents sent her to an outdoor wilderness program for teenage boys and girls needing a change in attitude and direction. It didn't go too well for her. After a failed attempt to run away from the camp, Paris got smacked in the face in front of everyone else to set an example. Not Yas. Not Yas at all. At the age of 17, her parents arranged for two to kidnap her and take her to a boarding school. This is the documentary's recreation of this sickening family moment. Paris was sent to Provo Canyon School in Utah, an establishment with a long history of abuse allegations. The school still exists today, and its official website actually addresses the negative media attention it has been receiving. This is a notice on the official website of Provo Canyon School. Paris Hilton's description of her experience at this school indicates that it uses MK Ultra style abuse and torture. She said,
"You're sitting on a chair, staring at the wall all day long, getting yelled at or hit. I felt like a lot of the people who worked there got off on torturing children and seeing them naked. They would prescribe everyone all these pills. I didn't know what they were giving me. I would just feel so tired and numb. Some people in that place were just gone. Like, the lights are on, but there's no one home. Solitary confinement was like something out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They made people take their clothes off and go in there, like, for 20 hours. Someone was in the other room with a straitjacket, screaming. I was freezing, I was starving, I was alone, and I was scared."
As explained in the previous video about origins and techniques of monarch mind control, all of the treatments just described are staples in MK Ultra. The abuse, the drugs, and the torture are designed to break the victim and to cause dissociation. Is Provo Canyon School an actual MK programming site? Or does it use a light version of it to reprogram its troubled students? Unclear. At one point, Paris says,
"It made me not trust anyone, not even my own family."
Despite saying that, the documentary shows that her family and some powerful outside people are still controlling her life.
Life is full of challenges, but you don't have to pad thai them alone. Talk to your pad thai today to find out if pad thai is right for pad thai.
When all you can pad thai is think about Postmates. Sign up today and get 30 days of unlimited free delivery.
Está pegando.
¿Qué motor es tu salsa? A la verga, 330, güey.
Well, the documentary presents Paris as a survivor who attained freedom through success. It also shows that she is surrounded by people who appear to be extremely controlling. First, there's her mother, Kathy Hilton. She was a child actor who grew up in show business. At one point, Paris says, "My mother treats me like I'm 12, which says a lot about her relationship with her family. Although Kathy arranged for Paris to get kidnapped and sent to Provo Canyon School, she apparently only learned about the abuse that was happening there while filming the documentary. This is Kathy Hilton's reaction after being told that Paris was abused at that school. How can a wealthy and well-connected family such as the Hiltons not know about the things that were happening at that school prior to sending one of their daughters? I said one of their daughters because the other one didn't go there. Nikki Hilton Rothschild. Contrarily to Paris, who complains about constantly ending up with boyfriends who are intimidated by her wealth, Nikki found a way to be the poor girl in her marriage. Indeed, while the Hiltons' family fortune is estimated at $900 million, her husband's family wealth is estimated at, take a deep breath, $700 trillion. That's because she is married to James Rothschild, the only son of Amshel Mayor James Rothschild, the executive chairman of Rothschild Asset Management of the Rothschild banking family of England. In other words, she's married into the elite. Throughout the documentary, Nikki appears to be rather harsh and judgmental towards her sister. When Paris asks Nikki why she was not sent to the boarding school, she replies, "You were very naughty, with little to no compassion." In short, it is almost as if Nikki was always protected by her parents, while Paris was the chosen one to become an industry pawn. Beyond her family, there are some powerful industry people hovering around Paris. For instance, media strategist Shiraz Hassan is seen micromanaging Paris's events during the documentary. According to the Medium article entitled, Meet Shiraz Hassan, the man who controls Hollywood. Shiraz Hassan controls Hollywood. The article states, in 2010, Shiraz founded his own social media, marketing and amplification firm, Shiraz Incorporated. He has overseen campaigns for some of the most famous celebrities in the world, including Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Zendaya, Priyanka Chopra, Paris Hilton and the Jackson family, as well as internationally recognized brands, including Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Ab InBev, Johnson & Johnson, Pantene and Gillette, generating over $2 billion in earned media. His experience spans the earth as he has worked with government agencies and entrepreneurs in Europe, the Middle East, India and Asia. Hassan appears to specialize in industry slaves, such as Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Lindsay Lohan, and, of course, Paris Hilton. During the documentary, we see Hassan filming Paris with his phone, while calling her the boss bitch. However, a little later, we see him telling Paris to go to bed in a bossy and authoritative manner. Hassan symbolically towers over Paris as he tells her to go to bed. He repeats, hair and glam at 8, ready at 8. Then he leaves with an annoyed look. Who's really the boss in this scenario? Then, there's this other boss that's been hovering around Paris since forever. This screenshot shows Paris with Kris Jenner, head of the Kardashian coven. There are several links between Paris Hilton and the Kardashians. First, they both used the services of the aforementioned Shiraz Hassan. Second, Kim Kardashian started her career as a Paris's assistant. Third, both of Paris and Kim attained new levels of fame and infamy with leaked sex tapes. As explained in the article entitled, Kanye West exposes dark truths about Kardashians, tries to break away from them. Kris Jenner is said to have organized the whole Kim Kardashian tape stunt. Were the forces involved in Paris's tape? In the documentary, Paris says,
It was a private moment of a teenage girl, not in her right headspace. And everyone was watching it and laughing. It was like being electronically raped.
Was this forced humiliation part of her initiation in the industry? Well, This Is Paris reveals some interesting facts about Paris Hilton. It doesn't take long before realizing that there's something off about this documentary. Its whole scripted reality TV vibe indicates that its narrative was carefully shaped to serve specific purposes. A cynical mind would argue that the documentary was actually an attempt to rebrand Paris, to add depth to her character, and, perhaps, make her somewhat relevant again. An even more cynical mind would argue that Paris's handlers framed the documentary's narrative to reveal the abuse in her past, while removing all blame from said handlers. Well, the documentary presents Paris as a successful woman who liberated herself from her past. The shady characters that still revolve around her indicate that she's probably more controlled than ever. And that's not hot at all. Comment below with more topic ideas for me to discuss. As a lot of care and hard work goes into this, likes and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. All is appreciated greatly. You may not agree with everything from the content I post. Apply critical thinking and use discernment to come to your own conclusions regarding the content. Thanks for watching this video. This Everything Inside Me channel. See you on the next video. Stay safe and healthy.
Oh. Oh, I got trash over here. I'll come and pick up the trash. Oh.
let's build a hotel in Saudi Arabia. I restricted him. I said, you can't do anything. Let's go build a couple of hotels in name any place in the world. We'll have them, right? And you know all the money that Biden's raising? He did $350 million. I would be, Doug, the greatest I'd make Doug look like a bad fundraiser. I would be the greatest fundraiser in history. All I have to do is call up the head of every Wall Street firm, head of every major company, head of every major energy company. Do me a favor, send me $10 million for my campaign. Yes, sir. They say the only thing is, why didn't you ask for more, sir? I would take in more money, but you know what? I don't want to do that. Because if I do that, I'm totally compromised. Because when they call me, you're a loyal person, and what happens is, hey, you'll do things that are a lot more money. So when the press says, and we're raising a lot of money, we're raising a lot of small money, a lot of 61, 62, no Republicans ever done that. But when I start calling, I would be the greatest fundraiser in history. Don't forget, I'm not bad at that stuff anyway, and I'm president. So I call some guy, the head of Exxon. I call the head of Exxon. I don't know, but I'll use a couple. Hi, how you doing? How's energy coming? When are you doing the exploration? Oh, you need a couple of permits, huh? Okay. But I call the head of Exxon. I say, I'd love to send me $25 million for the campaign. Absolutely, sir. Why didn't you ask? Would you like some more? And if I make the call, now people make the call, it's different, but if I made the call, I will hit a home run every single call. I would raise $1 billion in one day if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I put in a lot of money when I ran originally. I put in a lot of money into this campaign, my primary campaign. And I never thought it was appreciated. They'd never give me credit for it. But I gave up my salary. I gave up. So the president's paid. No, but nobody ever talks about it. Every month there's sleaze, because they're sleaze, most of them. Not all of them. That guy's a good guy. But you do have a couple of good guys, but not many. But every month they call, and has the president given up his check? I don't have to, I'm the only president, they say, maybe I'm wrong, they'll say, 100 years ago somebody else did. I'm the only president that did not accept a salary, which surprised me. It's $450,000. The only reason I mention it is they never talk about it. They never talk about it. But what they do is they call up every month. Did he give up his check? And Kaylee, where's Kaylee? Is she here? Where's Kaylee, our great girl? Where's Kaylee? Kaylee! She's a... Oh! Come here, Kaylee. So she just recovered from COVID. Can you believe it? Stay away from me, Kaylee. No, Kaylee. Is it true? They call all the time. Did he give up his check, his salary check? And she's always like, okay, they never write about that. If I ever didn't give it up, it would be headlines. Trump refused. These people are the worst. But is that true, Kaylee? Say a couple of words.
True, Mr. President. And let me tell you this, guys, with your help, we can beat social media, we can beat the media, because we have the greatest fighter in the history of this country, and President Donald J. Trump.
Jesus Christ. just option you. I get paid somehow. How the fuck did that happen? What? the fuck is my car doing?